Welcome, everybody, to the Green Living Gurus. And I am Therese Fortin Barnes, an environmental toxins health coach and the head guru at the Green Living Gurus. And thank you for joining us today. Today, we are honored to have Wendy Bjork, and we are talking about it's time to bring out your inner MS, multiple sclerosis, warrior queen with Wendy. Welcome, Wendy. Glad to have you here with me today.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. So Wendy is the MS Warrior Queen and now a mentor for empowering other women diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. She loves working with them to improve their 4 cornerstones of mind, body, relationship, and environment by bringing out their inner MS Warrior Queen. She now lives in Northwest Wisconsin, coming to us today. She lives there with her husband and their 2 teenage sons, and she loves to travel. And having MS does make it very challenging to travel, but she makes each trip so much more meaningful when she does. In her free time, she loves to read and spend some time outdoors as long as it's warm out. And I can agree with that. As someone who has dealt with MS, Wendy has dealt with it for over 30 years. She now wants to give others hope by providing the tools as well as designing premium custom programs to collapse the timeline for a lifestyle reset. She is an author for the National MS Society's Momentum magazine, has participated in roundtable discussions with Dr. Terry Walls in regards to her Walls protocol, and has been featured on many podcasts. If you're ready to live life differently, you may schedule an introductory call with Wendy at her website. You can find her, Wendy Bjork, and that's BJORK.com, WendyBjork.com. So welcome, Wendy. I'm so glad to talk to you today. I mentioned to you before, I have not spoken to anybody in the MS world. I know people that have had it, and it has intrigued me, and I'm very excited to talk to you today about learning about how you figured out that you had MS and the road you took. So let's first start out by, let's go back and how old you were when you first found out you had MS, but explain to people what MS is, because a lot of people don't know. They hear about it, but they really don't understand what multiple sclerosis is.
So what happens is on your nerves, there's a fatty covering, and that fatty covering is what enables your brain to send signals correctly back and forth throughout your body. And with MS, some of that covering on your myelin is missing, damaged, gone altogether. And that's what causes the missed signals, hence the symptoms, the walking problems, the thought problems, the bladder problems, all the movement problems. And it's all still a mystery of what happens, why it starts, what triggers it. There's a lot of theories, but it's still being researched.
And so how old were you when you started having symptoms? And what were those symptoms?
I think it could even go back to when I was 13, because that's when I started having migraine headaches every month, that I would just be sick. I would be at school and a migraine would come on and I have to go home. And back then they still had school nurses, so you'd just go to the nurse and ask to get a pass and go home and just be ill the rest of the day or maybe the next day. And I just started noticing weird things, like when I'd take a hot bath, I'd get out and my legs would feel like spaghetti. By then I was probably 15, 16, 17. And I'd mention it to the doctor, your sports physicals every year, and bring it up, but he didn't think anything of it. And so I just kept kind of, just dealing with it. And just having the occasional numbness and tingling in my legs, and guess you just don't think a thing's going to happen because you're a teenager. So you're still invincible and nothing bad's going to happen.
So you so then how did that progress? How did you figure it out it was MS? And
Well, it wasn't until I was in my early 20s, and by then I was done with college, working at my first, real full-time job, and it was a stressful insurance agency. And I had a bad attack, I guess you could call it. It felt like someone had their hand over my mouth. I had the words, but I couldn't get them out. And I was on the phone to a customer, and I didn't know if I was having a stroke or what was happening. So I hung up on him, and he was already mad. That's why he was kind of yelling. I don't know why. I just went to the ladies' room to figure out what was wrong with me and just try to calm myself down because, like I said, I didn't know what was wrong. And it took a little bit, but I could talk again and went back to my desk and had to call the guy back and apologize for hanging up on him. But that sent me to the neurologist then at that point because clearly there is something wrong.
And so this was, how old were you now, in your 20s?
I was 22.
22, such fragile times in your life to have to go through all this. And you had weird things going on for 10 years, close to 10 years, and your parents had no idea and nobody could figure it out.
No.
Oh, that's so hard. And so then you were diagnosed with it. Did that diagnosis come soon after you went to the doctor?
Well, I saw a neurologist, and then he thought I should have an MRI, which this is the early 90s, so MRIs weren't really a real reliable, proven resource yet for diagnosing anything. And it probably took a week or two to get my health insurance to even pay for it. So after I had that done, I saw, I think, 4 more neurologists because it was still questionable. I had white spots on my brain, but apparently so do people without MS. So it's hard to diagnose just from that aspect. And the last one I saw did a spinal tap on me, but he didn't tell me to go home. So I went back to work and finished out my day. And by about 7:30 that night, I couldn't stand up. And I had to crawl around for like 3 days because I took so much fluid out. So that really left a big imprint on me and caused a huge amount of stress.
Oh, I could imagine. So, I mean, that must have been so hard at such a young age to be diagnosed with MS. I mean, when you're told that, because there's a stigma attached to it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everybody automatically thinks you're going to end up in a wheelchair or die from it or something horrible is going to happen.
So what are some of the things that have helped you in dealing with this for so long?
Well, I don't know if it was wise at first, but I just ignored it and just lived my life. So, I mean, I'm 22. All my friends are out having fun. I don't want to just sit home. So I would just notice as soon as you'd have a beer or a cocktail, my legs and feet would just go instantly numb. But I didn't want just to say, oh, I have to go home because I probably won't be able to walk in 10 minutes. So I would just sit there and just try to be quiet and, still live my life. But my boss at the time was into personal development. And, this is before it's cool. So it's Stephen Covey, Jack Canfield, Brian Tracy. And he would send me to these conferences because he knew what I was dealing with. And on the flip side of it, he wanted me to come back and help teach the rest of the staff how to be more positive, which I'm 22, they're twice my age. They didn't listen anyway. But it really gave me tools to help deal with this.
So then after that, so now you're diagnosed with it, and it probably took you a while to open up about it, because were you still trying to hide it as well?
Yeah, I've been hiding it for 30 years.
But not anymore.
No.
Because now you're a warrior,
And
right?
just, I guess what flipped the switch was I'm in so many Facebook groups. They're just MS women Facebook groups, and there's 20, 30,000 people in these groups, and it's just heartbreaking. And a lot of them are young, and they're right back where I was when I was, either not knowing what's wrong with me or just finding out what's wrong with me. And it just, like I said, it's heartbreaking, and I just want to help people.
So let's talk about your 4 cornerstones, because this is all positive stuff, because you are a survivor, and in a way that you're not going to let it take over your life. And you have 4 cornerstones: mind, body, relationships, and the environment, which of course is so important to me, because I think the environment is affecting so many people in odd ways, and illnesses and cancer, of course. So tell us a little bit about that. I know you also have a program that you incorporate this in. So share with everybody those 4 cornerstones.
So the first one is your mind. You have to love yourself, and you have to have a positive attitude. And I know that is flipping hard some days when your body doesn't work, or you want to go back to bed at 10 o'clock because you're exhausted from taking a shower and getting dressed. But you just have to find something to be grateful for every morning. And if you can't do that, then at the end of the day, find some things to be grateful for, because no matter what's wrong with us, there's always somebody that has it worse.
Mm-hmm.
So your mind, the mindset part of it, that is key, I think. And also having a strong faith is part of it. You have to, like I said, it's all about going back to loving yourself, because if you're angry with yourself, you're just going to make your symptoms worse. Or if you're worrying all the time about what's going to happen in your future, you don't have control over it. So it's not helping you to worry about it. And then the body part of it is not only what you're eating or drinking, it's what you're putting on your body. What's in your shampoos, your lotions, your makeup. There's so many chemicals in our makeup in our country. And I was looking at the list of what's been banned in our country versus what's banned in Europe. There's like hundreds of chemicals banned in Europe compared to here. So the eating and the drinking part of it is cutting out sugar, dairy, gluten, because those all cause inflammation. And this didn't happen for me overnight. This took me years to figure out. So then the rest of the body part is just knowing what to eat and not to eat, or eat, and drink or not to drink. And then the relationship part, it's also the relationship with yourself and with your spouse or partner, your kids, your other family and friends, your coworkers, because we all need a support circle. And I see so many women that don't have that. Their spouse or partner thinks they're just lazy, but they're just tired and exhausted. And it's about teaching your kids how to be more compassionate and how to be more accepting. When they're young, it's easier to do. But I just think going in it, showing them compassion, then we can raise a whole generation of more compassionate kids. Mm-hmm. And then the last aspect is your environment. There's so many hundreds, almost 80,000, I think, synthetic toxins that have been created since World War II. And we have no idea what those are doing when they mix them together. And they're all in that aisle at the store that you go down, and you are glad you have a mask on because it smells horrible. And a lot of those are at their boiling point. So that's why you can smell them. They're off-gassing through the plastic. So you can imagine what it's doing to our body. Our body just doesn't have a clue how to process those chemicals. So using green, plant-based products are so important. And people don't think about that part of it. They don't think about their laundry soap and then laying on those sheets all night and their heads on that pillowcase. So it's just this whole conglomeration of what comes at us on a daily basis.
Especially women, with all the products that we all use. And I'm glad you touched on all those, because those are, near and dear to my heart because I am like a chemical freak in this house, and with all my clients and with everybody I talk to, because we are inundated, and you are right, over 80,000 chemicals. And it's insane to me and not regulated. And the makeup part, I actually just did something on Clubhouse last night all about the chemicals that can cause cancer in makeup and other illnesses. And in the United States, people don't understand this. In the United States, the makeup is on the market and not tested. So in the United States, it's innocent until proven guilty. And that proven guilty part is when somebody's coming forward with a lawsuit, like the talcum powder with Johnson & Johnson. It's until somebody's injured do they look at any of these products, unlike Europe, where they have to prove that it's safe before they put it on the market. So so many products in Europe are so different than the ones in the United States, even though it's the same Clinique blush, it's totally different because of this. So I'm glad you touched on that, because people don't understand how many chemicals there are out there. And laundry detergent, just like you touched on that as well. I was talking to someone the other day, last night actually, that I use I think it's called Tide All Free, Tide something, All Free. And it's free of what? It's got so many chemicals. You might not smell those chemicals because maybe they took the fragrance out, which is a whole nother story. But, and then you touched on, we don't know what these are doing to our body. And then you have all these chemicals in your body and they're being mixed together. And people, companies are saying, oh, this one chemical, it's fine. Well, that's one chemical. What about the 125 that you are putting on your body every day? And you having multiple sclerosis, I can only imagine if you come in contact with anything that your autoimmune, just goes haywire.
Yes.
I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, my sister's got an autoimmune disorder, mitochondrial disease, and she walks outside the house. If she even breathes in laundry detergent coming out of a vent, she can get quite sick. So I'm so glad that you're sharing your story and sharing. Unfortunately, you have gone through years of pain and agony, and I hope that you're doing well. You look great. And I know you're going to always have it, right? It's not like it's never going to go away, but you've got to manage it. And you're sharing your story to help others, which is so important, and getting the word out there that it is manageable. And I hope and pray so many of these other people and young girls that are suffering with these symptoms, and that they come and find you somehow, or that you can help as many people as possible. So tell me a little bit about the program that you have and why you care so much to help others that are dealing with MS.
Well, like I said, I think it is manageable. And once I figured out, reading tons of books and having all the coaches and classes on what causes inflammation in our body, it's just really shocking, like you said. And it's not difficult to choose to live differently. It's not hard either. You just have to commit to it and want to be whole again, want to feel good again. And you can't just flip a switch and do it because you've been using all these products for so many years. It takes a while for your body to readjust. And I just think the more people that know how to take these steps, you can just start feeling better, even maybe after a few months, of doing these changes. And that's my first, program, is just a framework of figuring out where they're at, what they can do right now to change some things, and give them a toolbox that they can either take and do it on their own, or I'll work with them one-to-one. And I have a program which starts, with that framework, and then it goes for 4 months. And then we go through each of the 4 pillars until we're done. If it takes longer, it'll take longer. That's fine. But, you know, we do follow-up calls, just check their progress, and just try to keep them on track, because it's not easy, but it can be done. I know I've done it. It's hard when everybody goes to the ice cream shop and has ice cream, and I just take a spoonful, and that's my little treat, because I know if I eat a whole dish of it, it's going to send me into a tizzy.
Right. And for you to help these people that hope, and I'm sure you've helped many, it's just making lifestyle changes.
Mm-hmm.
Once they do that, just like anything else you do when you make a lifestyle change, they will see the results. So a better quality of life, I presume, right, Wendy?
Right. I mean, I've gotten rid of the majority of the migraine headaches that I used to have, and I sleep better, and the brain fog is gone, and it's just so nice to be able to ride my bike again, which I hadn't done for 20 some years. So I think it just settles your whole body down and helps you to have a better life, like you said.
Yeah, well, you're a testament to making it through MS as a warrior. And hopefully people listening to this podcast can share this with others and pass on your knowledge and what your program that you have. Wendy's also on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And she also has a website called heartsofwellness.com. I will put all of this in the notes when I post this. And thank you so much for coming on today and helping others. That's what you and I are both in this world of doing, helping others that are suffering through unfortunate illnesses, and especially how the environment and environmental toxins and chemicals that are causing havoc on their lives. So is there anything else you want to add before we sign off?
Well, I just appreciate everybody for tuning in, and I'm just here to fill in those gaps in care and support ladies where they're just feeling unsupported. So love to talk to you and hear about their journey.
Awesome. From the head guru to the warrior queen, I look forward to meeting up sometime in person. If not, we will connect in the future. And I really appreciate you coming on today, Wendy.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.